I'm Ryan, and I'm not a cop,
And I'm not, babe.
but we are filling in for the cooking cop and babe and making Detroit-style pizza. And you might remember me from the time that Babe and I went head-to-head on the Battle of the Kitchens. You probably remember that I lost. Babe absolutely creamed me. That's one of the reasons why I'm surprised that Josh let me back on the channel to be able to jump in and make one of my favorite pizza recipes that's pretty easy to do, and it has an amazing crispy, cheesy crust. Detroit-style pizza is characterized by crispy cheese edges and a thick but soft crust. Note the wall-to-wall toppings too, and it's all cooked in a deep metal pan that was originally baked in a parts bin. Let's contrast that with your normal circular pizzas that are hand-tossed and stretched, and then put in a hot oven on a pizza peel with the sauce under the toppings. We like to make those too with some breadsticks. Every good pizza needs a flavorful sauce. Start with a can of diced tomatoes and give them a blitz to make them smooth. Add some olive oil, garlic salt, and a lot of dried Italian seasoning because that's where it gets a bunch of its flavor. I like to add some fresh garlic for a bit stronger kick, and then I simmer it on the stove for 20 or 30 minutes until it thickens. Detroit-style pizza has some oil and butter in the pan just to keep things from sticking and to give it a good fried and crispy crust. A word of warning though, you can absolutely overdo it. If your dough looks like this and it's swimming, you've used too much. Instead, opt for a thin coating, being sure to get it all the way up on the sides just to make sure that cheese comes off cleanly. Then add a teaspoon of olive oil, which keeps the butter from burning. Lots of grocery stores and pizza places sell fresh dough if you don't want to make it yourself. Purists put the dough ball directly in the pan, but you need to make sure that everything reaches the edge. We found it was easier to stretch and shape the dough to the right size before you put it in the pan. It's because it's a lot easier to have the dough shrink a little bit than it is to stretch it once it's in the pan. Just make sure that everything is up against the edge, especially in the corners. And then let it rise for 30 minutes. This pizza requires brick cheese, but I've only seen that cheese at the store at the Mall of America. So if you're outside of the Midwest, you could always substitute with a 50-50 mix of mozzarella and Monterey Jack cheese. It's pretty close and gives a similar flavor profile. Chop up the cheese into blocks so that way it melts nice and slow. Then spread the cheese cubes across the dough and make sure that you get on the edges so you get that crispy cheese bits this pizza is famous for. Another hallmark of Detroit-style pizza is putting the sauce over the cheese in 2 or 3 stripes. Some say that it matches the racing stripes on their cars or the stripes on the American flag. Either way, it says America. Add the pepperoni or your favorite toppings, and then put it in a 500-degree Fahrenheit oven for 15 to 18 minutes. You'll know that it's done when the cheese is bubbly and golden brown. Let the pizza cool for a minute or 2, and then try to get it out of the pan before the cheese completely hardens. And you're going to know if you got enough butter on the sides of this pan right about now. With some luck, you'll have some of those crispy bits you've been waiting for. So the only thing left to do is to give it the taste test. The best part of this pizza is the crispy cheese around the outside, and you're going to have a fight for those corner pieces because it has the most. So make sure you make enough.